All right, so it's finally here. We've gotten to the point. This is like what I signed up for. Like, this prep thing is getting hard. I wanted it at the start. It was just like, where's my heart? But, the longer you do this, the more you get to delay that. And I think this is the most time I've spent under 165. 165 seems to be like my threshold, which is about 5 pounds over stage weight, where I really do start to just feel not myself. So we spend about 2-3-ish weeks there. But now, whoa, like, did it just come out of nowhere? So these are the symptoms right now. Energy. Like, it starts pretty good. Usually, you're up maybe an hour earlier than you would prefer, but it's adrenaline that it gets you going in the morning. You're just wide-eyed and like, let's go. So it starts that way, but it kind of dwindles down in a very linear fashion. So it's kind of nice because it's easy to unwind at the end of the day. But still, there's like these random, like, what was that? Like, what just hit me? And they're starting to become more frequent. So like this past week, I think I experienced maybe 4 episodes like that where I was like in a 2-hour haze. Usually the best cure for me anyways is to like just go do something. So instead of, say, being on the couch, just kind of locked on the couch, just sitting there, it's like, hey, let's go for a family walk. Hey, let me go play with my daughter on the ground. Things like that really just help me escape that mud a little faster. Again, everyone's a little bit different, but this is what helps me. It's not all the time. The majority of my day, at least from like my perspective, like maybe people observing me might see it a little bit different, but I feel more or less the same energy wise. But yeah, but what is true is it starts off great at the start of the day, and then in a very linear fashion, I'm just running out of gas as the day goes on. Second thing is going to be sleep. Sleep is definitely, I'm probably spending 1 hour less in bed than I would like. It's hard to spend more than 7 hours in bed at this point. But overall, I think last prep, and kind of ashamed to admit this, as much as I tried to focus on sleep, I still wasn't very good at that aspect yet. I wouldn't say mastered because I'm not there yet, but I think I had last prep, I had 1 week where my Fitbit metric, per the Fitbit metrics, my sleep averaged an 80. So far, this prep, it's been at 80 or a little bit above 80 the last 3 or 4 weeks. So we're doing better, but still wish I could generate more sleep. Still not bad. I don't expect it to get any worse. Finally, training. Training is more or less the same. I'm just not able to add load to movements. I have to sometimes, if anything, fold and bring it down a little bit to what feels more appropriate. But it kind of comes and goes. Like 1 week I'll drop a few reps, and the next week I'll win those reps back. But it's one of those games where like training is no longer progressive. It's still a little bit more offensive than maybe it will be in 3 weeks, but it's not the same as the off season. I still feel good, mostly normal while I'm in there, but I can't expect to be on the offensive when it comes to every set. Finally, hormonally, things are still like okay. Like things are still really good. And admittedly, that's just something that outside of my first prep, for some reason, my first prep just wrecked me hormonally. I don't feel that way. Like there's still the libido still intact. I guess like that testosterone drive to do things is for the most part intact. However, I can definitely tell, and this will freak some people out, that hormones are starting to take a hit in other ways. And this one's going to freak out, especially the dudes, but I think a lot of women out there know exactly what I'm talking about. I've just been able to find like more hair shedding than usual. And I think it's a lot easier to notice this when you have long hair as opposed to, most men have shorter hair. You can't notice it as much. But in my case, I can notice it. It's maybe double what I usually experience when I'm washing my hair. But thankfully, I don't have too much to worry about when it comes to that. So I'm not too concerned. And if per my last prep, because second prep with longer hair, what I can expect is as soon as the dieting's over, for me, it just, the extra shedding just stops. Finally, the story of this week, what made this week like extra hard for me was the fact that, okay, so as some of you know, I like to cycle my calories. I'll have typically Monday through Friday be my hypocaloric days. Saturday and Sunday, I come out of the diet. So just like there's rest days for training, there's rest days for diet per the system that I am using. Usually Saturday and Sunday, those are my days. And this past weekend, we had a wedding. Beautiful wedding, by the way. So Carrie and Tucker, congratulations. That was amazing to be part of. It was a fantastic wedding. However, I misjudged things, and this is where I messed up. So I went through my typical low days, and then, the wedding was, you could say, a 2-day event. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to refeed on those days. So I didn't have my typical carb bolus going into those occasions, or not as much as I usually do. Usually I require on those days somewhere between 500 to even 700 grams of carbohydrate to just feel good and ready to attack the week. So dummy me, it's like, I thought there'd be more carbs there. So I got some extra calories in, but not necessarily the carbohydrates that I need to like fight back as I train in a hypocaloric state. So boy, I just knew I was in trouble once the week started. I'm entering like right away, hitting lows early in the week. And I was struggling. I thought it was going to be far worse than it was. Nevertheless, I definitely know that with the scale right now being sticky, I'm going to need these upcoming refeeds to be pretty strict, pretty carby, keep fat low so that I can fuel things up, so that I can train hard the upcoming week, but also to get things moving in my digestive tract. I think one of the reasons that despite me feeling more symptoms of diet fatigue, but not necessarily seeing progress on the scale, physique another thing, but progress on the scale, I think a lot of it is just the fact that I have things stuck. A lot of you guys might know this, a lot of you might not, but your GI tract atrophies as you get deeper into especially a contest prep diet, but with any fat loss diet, you typically will see some of that. So it's shrunk. There's a traffic jam in there, and that's definitely impacting the scale, and to a certain extent, the way I look, especially my lower abdomen area. So this week was probably the hardest, but that was my miscalculation. I should have known to attend the wedding with like a little bread hidden here in my little get up. But yeah, you live and you learn. Other than that, it's been, again, this is what I signed up for. This is what I want. Being kind of, I guess, stuck or abandoned in these parts of a contest prep. Look, it's hard. It's hard. It's 24/7 hard if I'm being perfectly honest. But you enjoy it. Like you fantasize about this on the other side of the contest prep. So with that said, this will be a short update. This is just how I'm doing. Let's get into the physique update. And yeah, it's looking quite good. Here's the one thing I am doing different this year, and you'll see it when I get to my back poses. And I've mentioned this, so sorry if I keep mentioning this, but I'm really going to attempt to not squeeze my glutes as hard as I have in past years. I think in the past, one of my biggest features was just being like shredded in the glutes top to bottom. I still plan to be as lean as ever, and ideally even leaner than before. However, when I do that, when I really squeeze my glutes and get into just purely hip extension through the glutes, my adductors don't pop as much. And then also you kind of have to tuck your pelvis under, and that pulls down on like lat fibers especially. And I am not able to open up and create as much width as possible. In the past, I think with a less complete physique, I wouldn't have been as confident in doing this, but I really do feel like this is the best strategy for me this year. So all my back poses is going to be kind of a pooched up glute, kind of like how they often do it in the UK. And that's what I'm going to roll with. But look, physique overall, I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased. The quads are finally coming in. My upper body's finally starting to show some of like the hardness that I'm used to. It's just glutes and hamstrings that just need to come up to just kind of catch up to everything else. But realistically, it's all going to start showing in about 3 pounds. Because I think one thing people forget about fat is that it's quite voluminous. So a pound of fat is about as much volume as like about a brick, right? So if you think about it, there's probably like 3 bricks everywhere that I can mobilize to be in acceptable shape. Now I probably have to remove probably another brick, maybe half a grip to take it to a new level. So that's what we're going to attempt to do the rest of this year. I have the rest of September and probably half of October, ideally. Like if I'm ready by midway through October and start eating up from that point, all the way from my first show to Worlds, which is going to be 3rd week of November, we're going to be good. But right now, things are good. Things are hard. It's what I signed up for. It's honestly why I keep coming back to this, just to test myself in this way. And yeah, I life is good. I couldn't be happier despite the fact that shit really sucks right now.